Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today I wanted to talk about Quicksilver Storm in Destiny 2. This is an exotic I've been sleeping on for a long time, and I'm glad I changed that with this week's Iron Banner because it actually slaps. Now, I wanted to do a bunch of testing of auto rifles in the current PvP meta because it's dominated by all kinds of different pulse rifles. You got sidearms and this and that and the other. You don't really see auto rifles really all that much, so I wanted to see which ones can be very competitive. I tried out Dark Decider, which is better than some people I think believe based on its stats, but still not the best auto rifle. You got AR2, which is my old personal favorite, and that thing still does very, very well. And you got other exotics. You got Cerberus or Cerberus Regime. You got Sweet Business even, but of them all, what I found is that Quicksilver Storm is the best auto rifle in Destiny 2 PvP right now. One thing to keep in mind, you can only obtain this through pre-purchasing Lightfall, so some people might say this is pay to win, but who am I to say? I just think it's a very, very good weapon. Now, going into its perks, it's got corkscrew rifling and high caliber rounds, as well as hand-laid stock as its standard traits. This leads the weapon to be very good. It's got lower impact, medium range, but max stability, which is very nice. This thing is a laser beam. It's just gonna stay steady pretty much the entire time. It's got decent handling and reload speed, as well as pretty good aim assist overall. Low zoom and lower airborne effectiveness, but really you don't want to be using this in the air all that much. It is a 720 rounds per minute with 50 in the magazine. Now this is something that I think is underrated at times by people, but 50 in the magazine, you can go through multiple gunfights before you run out of bullets. So that is very, very good and allows you to not only lay into the first fight but continue on the second fight without having to reload. So its mediocre reload speed is not really holding it back all that much. Then we get into the intrinsic traits. The first one is Grenade Chaser. This one is very interesting, but it's more of a meme than anything in PvP. Landing multiple rockets loads a grenade, long press to switch into grenade launcher mode, and the grenade launcher from this is not super effective. It's not one that you're going to be using all the time, but it can be fun to get a kill or two with it. It can be pretty hilarious when you get a couple of enemies grouped up and you can hit them all with a single grenade, but overall it's not really going to be the most viable option in PvP all the time. It's just something to have fun with overall. Then we've got the Rocket Tracer's trait, which is where this weapon really shines. Landing multiple hits turn your next shot into a homing micro rocket. Now, where this has come in really handy is, say you're in a 1v1 gunfight. You both are just wailing at each other and you're both low health. Each of you kind of dips behind cover at the same time to stay alive. That homing rocket that already has been shot will oftentimes finish off the enemy for you so you can heal up and go into the next fight no problem. This happened to me more times than I was ready to admit. Like, when I first started using this thing, I was shocked by how often this would happen, and it leads to a lot of interesting gameplay styles as you're using this, knowing that you're going to have a grenade homing in on the enemy and following them to finish them off. Now, it's not really something you can wholly rely on all the time unless you can really pay attention to the rocket getting shot out, because what will happen is you'll be firing and oftentimes it's really easy to miss that rocket shooting out of your gun because it kind of shoots off to the side a little bit at times, and it's easy to miss unless you're really paying attention to it. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, this thing is so much fun because of that. Now, other than that, just straight 1v1 gunfights, I was winning them way more often than I was expecting to with this weapon over multiple games, multiple different players that I was competing against with different guns. I was going up against mid-range pulse rifles and hand cannons, this, that, and the other, even some bows you'll see in the gameplay a little bit, and I was able to gun people down pretty quickly and at multiple ranges, right? I was up close. It almost felt, because it is a 720, like it can almost compete with SMGs really close. It's going to lose out to sidearms when you're point blank, obviously shotguns and that. But if you learn to backpedal a little bit, it's actually pretty good at taking those weapons on once you create a little bit of distance. So the other nice thing is the range on this is better than you would expect when you're laying down fire at a distance. So overall, I'm going to leave you with the gameplay, but yeah, I think this is a weapon everybody should be checking out, at least trying it. If you like ARs, try this, see for yourself if it's as good as I believe that it is. And this is the exact reason why I'm a big fan of testing a bunch of different weapons, whether they are the meta or not, and whether other people say they are bad or not, because you never know which ones you're going to be comfortable with, which ones are going to suit your personal gameplay style, and are going to be a fit for the way you want to play Destiny 2 PvP. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more Destiny 2 content leading up to the Nightfall. I'm going to have a mix of PvE and PvP things, so definitely stay tuned for all of that. Let me know if there's other weapons, exotics or legendaries, that you think I should try in PvP in order to see how viable they are in the current meta. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on that. I hope you have a good one. My name is JoPa, and I'll catch you all later.
Opponent claimed Zone C. Opponent claimed Zone B. Opponent claimed Zone C. Zone B captured. Zone advantage is yours. It's almost over. Don't let them have it easy.